Hello, this is the Watchdog. Welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to do a comparison video. We have a Curdden 1533 and a Sanda 7053, and these are both homages to Patek Nautilus. Let's start with the wrist check. I'm wearing the Sujus S418-2, which has a fully automatic chronograph movement, which is unusual for a watch under $500. And Grogo's wearing my Pagani Design PD 1644 chronograph that has the VK63 movement. Grogo said that during Princess Leia's trial for killing Jabba the Hutt, the prosecutor said he was going to call his star witness, Salacious B. Crumb, who saw Princess Leia choke Jabba to death. I said, star witness, I get it, it's Star Wars. You don't have to put star in front of everything. Alright, let's take a look at the two watches. Neither one came in a box, and that's fine. These watches aren't. A box would have just been really cheap and just raised the price of the watches, but here they are. When I first got these watches, my intent was to do reviews on each one and then do a comparison. But the more I thought about it, I just figured, why not just go straight to the comparison? The Curdden cost me $12, but if you look at the link now, it's costing about $10.50. And the Sanda was about $15 and still going for about $15. So the Sanda is a little bit more expensive than the Curdden. Two Patek Nautilus homages on my channel. I've never had a Curdden before, but I've had quite a few Sandas. Both of these watches give us a multifunction look instead of a chronograph, where you get the looks of all these subdials without the expense of a chronograph movement. Unfortunately, Curdden left out the multi part because all the subdials are fake and this is just a three-hander. Although the Sanda has working subdials, they are not exactly blameless in the fakery department, as the inner portion of the subdials are purely decorative and the second subdial hands are fixed with the other. The Curdden comes in 4 different colorways. If you don't like the green I chose, there's also white, black, or blue. The Sanda only comes in 3 different colorways, with there being no green option. The watches have very similar widths. This is 39.3 millimeters at the bezel. This one's 39 exactly. This one is 42.7 ear to crown guard, and this one is 42.3. Lugs to lug though, the Curdden's is 2 millimeters bigger, 48.1, and this is 46.3. Now when it comes to thickness too, the Curdden's a little bit thinner, 10.7 versus 11.4. Then when the lug width does not apply, but where the bracelet meets the case, the Curdden is 24.3, and it tapers down to 17 at the clasp. And the Sanda is 23.4, where the bracelet meets the case and tapers down to 18. And this one weighs 122 grams, and this one weighs 112. So this is a whole 10 grams heavier. Then they both have the horizontally brushed bezels, but as you can see, the Curdden's a little bit thicker, a little bit more pronounced, and it looks more like a real Nautilus. And then we have the dials. The Curdden has a metallic sunburst effect look to it, where the Sanda is flat. I think I prefer the flat because it just looks more like a real Nautilus that way. And then we have the baton indices. They look very similar. They're both poorly loomed, but this is really poorly loomed. And then we have the hands, and we both have fence post hands. And then we have the second hands, and they're stick hands, and they don't have any lume on them. And then we have the subdials. As I explained in the montage, the Curdden, they are all fake. They don't do a thing. So it looks like the subdial on the right is the day of the week. Oh, sorry, looks like the one on the right is the month of the year, but it's not because it doesn't turn. And this one is the day of the week, but it doesn't turn. And this one looks like it's supposed to be a moon phase, but it has the sun for one thing, which doesn't make any sense. on a moon phase. And once again, it doesn't turn. Now we do have a date at 4:30, and this is a real date. So at least you do get the date. Then the Sanda, the subdials are real. The one on the bottom is a 24-hour indicator. The one on the right is the day of the month. But it also has a subdial of 1, 2, 3, 4, and that, I don't know what that was supposed to be for, but it doesn't do anything. Then if you look closely too, you'll see that there's 2 hands on the subdial, but they're fixed together. So basically, when you change the date, because the date moves, they're both going to move. So you have to decide which one of those you want to be the main one. But it looks like that one's a little bit longer, the one pointing at the 1 right now. Then the left subdial, we have the day of the week. And this little inner dial 2 is fake. So only the outer dial makes any sense. Then they both have unsigned push-pull crowns. But when it comes to current action, believe it or not, the Curdden is not bad. When you go to change it, it's not all loose. And then when you go to set it, there's absolutely no minute hand jump. So you can set the Curdden accurately. The Sanda, on the other hand, the crown is a lot looser. And then if you go to set it, well, that time it didn't jump. Let's see if I can do it again without it jumping. Oh, see, that time it jumped. So it's kind of a hit or miss. You have to be really careful when you set the Sanda. You do not have to be careful when you set the Curdden. Then they both have flat mineral glass crystals. They do about the same job. And then they both have chrome plated alloy cases. And they're very similar. And then we have the case backs. As you can see, the Sanda case back sticks out a lot more than the Curdden. So that's why the watch is slimmer. They're both press-ons. And the Curdden says stainless steel back, water resistant, meaning you only get to 30. But look at the model number, 1520. This is a 1533. They also make a 1520, which is just a 3-hander with none of these fake subdials. So they basically borrowed the case back off a different watch. Then the Sanda, on the other hand, we have a case back, says stainless steel back, water resistant. And this time it has the right model number. Underneath the case back, the Curdden has a Z205 movement. So I've never dealt with this movement before, and it seems to be fine because you can actually set it without a minute hand jump. And the Sanda has a PE80, which is a more complicated movement because once again, these subdials actually work. Then we have the bracelets. The bracelets, they're both fake H-links. See, they're actually one piece. And you just have grooves to make it look like an H-link. But the Curdden just seems cheaper. And the Curdden is all polished, where the Sanda is a combination of brushed and polished. So it just looks a little bit better. And it looks more real, even though they're both really hollow single links. Now they both have 13mm lugs here, where if you look here, you can put on a strap designed for Nautilus on both of them. I won't do that, but you can. Then it comes to the links. We have push pins on both of them, and that's fine. And I had no problem sizing either one of these, so that's good, because sometimes on hollow bracelets I have difficulty sizing. Then this one has a regular traditional clasp, but unfortunately no micro adjust. And this one has a butterfly. Now, one nice thing about this clasp, though, is you can actually change it. So you can change it with one that does have micro adjust if getting the perfect fit is important to you. And of course, a butterfly clasp you can't. And there are no half links. Here's a Curdden on my 7.5-inch wrist. And I'm wearing it just a hair loose. I probably could take another link out, but I removed 2 links. So I probably could remove 3. So you could probably wear this 8 1/4 without needing more links. And here's the Sanda on my 7.5-inch wrist. I removed 3 links to fit. And this one's fitting just about perfect. So yeah, this one too, maybe 8 1/4, possibly 8 1/2. Here we are in the loom room. Just shining my UV light on the Curdden made me think it didn't even have a loom. The Sanda gives me some hope. As we speak at the time, the Curdden is gone in a flash. Possibly the worst loom I've ever tested. The Sanda indices are already gone, but the hands have a little life to them, but not good at all. What I like about the Curdden over the Sanda, it's easier to set because there's no annoying minute hand jump. And even though it doesn't have a clasp with micro adjust, you can at least change it to something that does. The bezel's a little bit more substantial. It looks more like a real Nautilus. And since it has a real date, you can actually read it a little bit better than this date dial. And it is just a hair more affordable. What does the Sanda do better? It has much better loom, even though it's not good loom, but the Curdden loom is just such a joke that anything's going to look good next to it. The 3 subdials actually work, even though the inner subdials are not working. It has a better and longer bracelet. And I like this flat finish on the dial. It looks a little bit more like a real Nautilus than this sunburst on the Curdden. So there you have it, a comparison of the 2 watches. I can't recommend this Curdden though, just because of all the fakery on the dial. But the Sanda isn't too bad considering the price. Well, thank you for watching my comparison of the Curdden 1533 and the Sanda 7053. And I'll be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like either one of these watches, be sure to use my affiliate link and I'll get a tiny commission. But those tiny commissions do add up. And that's why I was able to get this Sujas here. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. I finally got a refund on the latest Members Choice watch. So I was able to order another one. And this time I ordered it from a different store. And so hopefully I won't get the same amount of trouble I got with the last one. And so hopefully it should be arriving in a week or 2. Bye.